Hey guys, it's me, your bear Huffy, and today I just wanted to have a little conversation on the state of mobile gaming and the future of mobile gaming, if you will. Now, this past month has seen some wild news in the mobile gaming space with the launch of the Apple iPhone 15 and 15 Pro Max or Max Pro, whatever you call it. These were launched specifically advertised to be almost console like. They're shipping with Death Stranding, um, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Village, some premium titles from Ubisoft, like the brand new Assassin's Creed game Mirage. As soon as that launches on everything else, it's going to be coming to the iPhone as well. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because, well, I mean, that's insane, right? It's kind of crazy to think. And some tests have already been coming out by people who have the iPhone, I believe, on YouTube, the newer one, playing some of those premium titles that were already released, such as Village. I haven't really seen any as of yet. I think I've only seen some thumbnails of videos in my feed, but I still wanted to talk about this because, as you know, I'm not really a stranger to mobile gaming. If you've been on the channel, you know I stream Arc Knights. I stream Fate Grand Order every once in a while, and I'll talk about handheld and like portable experiences every once in a while. It is strange, and I'm not sure if the market will change along with it. If you've been gaming on mobile, or if you have a mobile device, at any point within the last, let's see, it's 2023 now, in the last 13 years or so, right? Mobile games don't really have any premium titles. I mean, they do, but not to the extent that you would find on a PC or a console like a PlayStation or an Xbox. They just don't compare. The majority of money coming in from mobile gaming comes from freemium experiences, and I say freemium with an F because things like Candy Crush, Angry Birds, Arc Knights, Fate Grand Order, Azure Lane, what have you, they operate on the premise of like the game's free to download, but you can spend money on monetary transactions, whether it's to do gacha or skins or whatever have you. Like that's majorly how they make their revenue. These companies, they don't really make the money up front, as you will, right? Even some apps, a lot of the paid apps on the Apple iOS store or the Google Play Store, a lot of the paid apps have a free version as well, or a subscription version, wherein like it's free to download with a trial. You can use it for a bit with ads, or you can get the paid version. And majority of the times, the paid version, just judging by the reviews left or the number of downloads, it is incomparable to the free version. Like the not too many people go for that, right? Now, in the console and PC gaming space, we've already had this discussion over the last couple of years, ever since Take Two did it, when they raised the price to $70 for games, right? Ever since then, from 60, it was 60 for however many years, and then 70. And Capcom said that they would release Resident Evil as a free to play title, and once you hit a certain point in the game, that's when you have to pay for the rest of it. And I believe it was supposed to be 60 as well. Same thing with the Death Stranding Konami port. They're going to be fully featured full games for the same price you would pay on something else. And I understand Apple is trying to say you have cross buy. You buy it on iPhone, you can play it on your iPad or your Mac as well. But I don't know if the gamer the gamers who play on mobile are willing to pay that. Do you? Because I am by no means, I would say, a casual gamer. Like, I've uh, a relatively large gaming library, physical, digital, whatever have you. And I like to play a lot of games. I mean, I know I'm a gaming bear, but even I was kind of taken aback and was like, I mean, this is cool, but I don't know if I would pay however much money for my phone. I don't know. The I in in theory, obviously I can see like, yeah, this is an obvious avenue of where these publishers want to go because the audience is there. I guess it's untapped in that regard for these premium pricing. But would people actually pay? I thought about buying one just to like kind of mess around and like make a video about it, but like to actually play, I don't know if I would play that on my phone when I can play that on something else. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Like, hey there, Huff. What if they don't have a PC to play games on? What if they don't have a game console to play on? Like their phone's what they've got. They want to play on it. Like I get that, yeah. But is that market large enough? If they're going to be a serious enough gamer to want to be paying like $60-$70 for an experience like this on their mobile phone, don't you think they would already be enough of a hardcore gamer to have a console setup or a PC setup? Right? I don't know. These are just some things I wanted to consider. Because aside from that, earlier this week, a report came out from Capcom as well. That is the president of Capcom. Here we go. Article from Video Games Chronicle. The president of Capcom has said he believes video games should cost more to buy. Cost more to buy. This is quite something considering the troubled economies that have resulted around the world after COVID-19 and the pandemic we've all gone through. Not to mention the rapid inflation that a lot of countries are going through as well. It's hit me, I can tell you that much. Like, eggs are expensive, guys. Milk is expensive. It's crazy. But he says he feels that the game prices are too low. Now, Capcom is one of the last holdouts in regards to the $60 price model for video games. Resident Evil 4 came out earlier this year, the remake, and it still cost 60, whereas even the first party companies like Sony and Microsoft were already selling their games for 70. They were still at 60. And now they're saying they're going to, they think it's too low. So obviously the inference we can get from that is that they're going to raise their prices to 70 if not more. And they're also making ports for phones as well. That means, conceivably it would be like a $70 price tag for an iPhone game. How crazy is that? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not sure the market would be there, I mean, granted, it's up to them to check and trailblaze, like if they're successful, they're successful. But I don't know, especially as like I would consider myself to be like a hardcore gamer as well. And that's just the Apple ecosystem too. We're not even talking about Android. Apple Silicon, and I used to really not like Apple back in the day, but they've kind of grown on me over the years, especially since I got an iPad. I used to think they were full of it when they were talking about Apple Silicon and the M1 and M2 chips. And then I got an iPad with an M1 chip, and I was like, wow, this thing is crazy. Even running something like Arknights, when I run Arknights on my PC or when I run Arknights on my Android phone, the performance is always choppier, and you can tell the performance in general, it's not as optimized or run as well as the game on my iPad. It's crazy how noticeable that difference is. And it's hard to explain until you've seen it. Now, Android is, for better or for worse, much more fragmented than the Apple ecosystem. So if you have these phones that can run those games, Would it be only the super high-end Android phones, all the flagships? Because those are not the majority for Android devices on the market. To my understanding, it's the majority of Android phones in the world, and you can correct me in this in the comments below if I'm wrong about any point in this video, just let me know. They are mostly the mid-tier to low-tier models of phones with chipsets and RAM and like storage and all that. So a lot of these phones might not even be able to run these games they're trying to put out into the ecosystem. Now, I want to circle a little bit back to the premium pricing I brought up earlier in regards to games. Like $60, $70 games for a mobile game is crazy, right? They've already experimented a little bit with premium pricing for games, but these have normally topped out at like $20 US dollars, mind you. Like the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, or before the Pixel remasters when they just had the straight up Final Fantasy 1 through 6 on there. I still own Final Fantasy 6 on Android. Not the Pixel remaster, but like the one before that they delisted because it still has controller support, whereas the new one doesn't, which I thought was very strange. So I've kept it. Like it's installed on my phone and my Logitech G Cloud because it's able to run there, and it works fine enough for what it is. But that was a $20 title, and from what I saw on the thing, like it's not like it sold gangbusters compared to some of the other mobile games there, because the Play Store and the iOS Store kind of push these freemium games like the Arc Knights and the Fate Grand Orders and the Fire Emblem Heroes or whatever of the world, right? Or the Azure Lanes. Those things kind of, or Genshin Impact, that's the big one too. Those print money in comparison to those premium, and I put in quotation marks, mobile experiences. Because they're mostly outdated, well, I don't know if I want to say outdated, but older ports of games like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. A classic, right? But I don't think people are going to be paying like 60 or whatever how many dollars for it on a mobile phone. From what I understand, it's like, I think it's below 10 right now, or it's mostly on sale a lot. But anyway, this was just something to consider, guys. I wanted to talk about this because this is what Capcom and Konami and the rest of them are trying. I think Apple might be bankrolling some of the porting for these games, because from what we found out in the, I believe it was the Activision versus Microsoft trial, but Stadia was paying developers a metric ton of money to port their games to Stadia. It was a completely different development environment. So I can infer from that Apple's probably doing the same thing, because no one really games on Mac. I know some do, but like it's not the majority platform for a lot of games. So game development on there and sales on there are kind of low. I think Linux is even higher because of the Steam Deck, and that tells a lot. But for Android too, do we know of any Android chipsets that can compare to Apple Silicon? Because I don't. I mean, there probably is, but I haven't heard of any, right? Because as good as the Snapdragon Gen whatever it is now, I I think the M1 and M2 are still faster, right? I don't know. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Like, I'd like more insight into this, but I don't know where to get started on reading on the exact differences and strengths of Android chipsets, because I'm just the bear on the internet, guys. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about this and, put my thoughts out there, share them with you guys. If you guys have any thoughts and opinions of your own, please let me know in the comments down below, because I'd like to make this a conversation between me and you. Because I'm assuming if you're watching my channel, you're a gamer, whether it's traditional or mobile or combination of both or whatever have you. So you have a stake in this as much as I do, and we're both seeing where the market is going, right? And we're both living, I guess you could say, in video game history, as it were. This is like a turning point, I think. So I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Please let me know. Anyway, guys, I kind of recorded this in one take. Just wanted to put my thoughts out there, so please let me know what you think. Ooh, I'm tired. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. Huffy Bear out.